grew up in a home that was liberal, and we didn't believe that God was God. God could be anything. God could be someone you made up. God could be anything you thought of. We had gone to buildings, edifices of worship, supposedly, and they never talked about God or sin or Jesus or blood or Messiah or things like that. In 1975, I got books from Scholastic Books out of school. I take my little allowance and go and get a whole bunch of books because I really like to read. And I really like ghost stories. So I got this cool book about a boy and a girl and their mom, their dad had died. Like they had moved into an old house somewhere. And when they'd go walking in the garden, they'd run into these boy and girl who were ghosts who used to live on the property, you know, like 100 years ago or whatever. And I thought that was interesting as a 5-year-old. So I kept reading books about ghosts and getting them out of the library. And then books on witches and Stonehenge, all pyramids, Egyptian studies, Mayan, Aztec. Stonehenge, did I say that already? Anyway, anything occultic and interesting. I used to like watching In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy as a kid. And basically, you know, I just wanted to know different things and things that were unusual and spiritual in matter rather than the day-to-day things, because I really didn't like the fakeness of people. Like living in a suburban place where people didn't know each other, where it was all just like surface and veneer. I thought there was something deeper to life as a kid. So that's what I was looking for. And got into, let's see, I could read cards, like I used to astral project in high school, and I would actually visit friends' houses and tell them things about where they were sitting and what they were doing, and it really freaked my friend Heidi Marshall out, and my other friend Marcy Engler. I used to give her a deck of cards, and I'd tell her to pick cards, and I would tell her what cards she was holding, and that freaked her out too. Then I went off to college, and I became a solitaire witch, and there was a really great New Age bookstore in that college town. So I used to hang out with all these New Age people, and like even hung out with a coven. I wasn't part of their coven because I was a solitaire, and I would hang with a couple other solitaire witches. And basically that's about it, I guess. I didn't believe in evil. I thought the Bible was a myth. I thought Jesus was whatever, didn't matter to me. I didn't believe in sin. I didn't think there was a hell. I didn't think if there was a heaven. I didn't even give it a thought, really, because I was really happy, you know, in my witch ways, doing my witch things and casting witch spells and making whatever, you know, the whole shamil. So that went on, and I really need some sleep, so I'm really not doing very good at this. But anyway, when I lived in, there goes the light again. When I lived in New York, I went to a Renaissance fair, and the man I was married to and we were just like, you know, looking at different things like, ooh, chainmail and daggers and this, that, the other, and, you know, amulets and this, that, the other, fine metalwork and things like that. And, you know, I was like kind of bored talking to this man and woman who were showing like all their wares and stuff they had. And so, well, like, well, my husband and this woman were talking, this other guy, he was like, hey, well, like, do you want to see something? So I'm just like, waiting for it all to be over, because I was like, I want to see other things and check other things out, because it was a beautiful sunny day, like the most perfect day in August you could ever imagine. And he said, hey, like, do you want to see something? And I'm like, yeah, like, whatever. Like, I didn't even care. And all of a sudden, in broad daylight, the man was, I could have touched him. He was that close to me. All of a sudden, he goes like this, and he points to his ear, and it grew. It grew to a point like that. And it happened, this close to me. And having been in the occult and seeing things or whatever, nothing had ever really freaked me out, but that freaked me out because I was like, whoa, like, that is freaky. And I just had like a really bad feeling. And you know how if you're around animals, like if you're scared of an animal, you don't want the animal to smell that you're scared or to know that you're scared. So, I'm just like looking at the showcase, like looking at this other piece of jewelry, like, yeah, like I've seen ears grow every single day of my life. But inside in my heart was going like, oh my gosh, like, this is really messed up. And so I just played it off like, whatever, no big deal. I see it every day, growing ears, whatever. So anyway, time passed on, and finally my husband was ready to go. So we spent the rest of the Renaissance Fair in Woodstock, New York, meeting people, this, that, the other, and then riding home on the motorcycle real late at night. Well, then when we get home, he tells me, oh yeah, like, that couple we were talking to with the chainmail and the daggers and the swords and the this and the that? Well, I gave him our name and address and our phone number and said, if they wanted to stop by and stay here, they could. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, it was like part of me just went inside. I was like, you didn't, like, I didn't say that, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you gave our personal information to that very scary guy. The girl was okay, but you're growing really for a witch. That was freaking me out because I was a good witch, a white witch, a happy witch, a nature witch, a creation, nature spirit worshipping witch. I didn't believe in things like that. So anyway, that was pretty weird. And blah, 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 blah. Some other things happens, blah, blah, blah. Some other things, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, God kept testing my heart to see, are you a good witch? Are you going to be good? Or are you going to be evil? Going to be good? Or are you going to be evil? And on one trip, it's like I'd rented a car, and this was like out past the Catskills, New York, and I was going to a medicine wheel, and there's going to be like shamanic sweatlodge practices there and stuff. So I was really looking forward to it. So I'm like hightailing it like late at night because I had to work that day, and I wasn't going to get until like probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's pitch black out there when you're driving. And all of a sudden, I see an older woman on the side of the road. And, she's like frumpy. She looks like somebody's like older aunt, And it's like, when you see a woman like that on the side of the road, you're like, somebody who's like my aunt shouldn't be on the side of the road. So, I pulled over, and I was like, hey, and I was like, do you need a ride, or you need help or something? And she wanted a ride, and I was like, well, I'm not going that way, but, I'll take you as far as the road goes, and, when I go north, it's like I'll drop you off at a safe location. So anyway, I was like, I didn't question this at all, I was just like, whatever, just picking up a woman who, is in the middle of nowhere. So we're talking, and she told me about her life, and her life had so many things that happened in it, like tragedy, just like hard life experiences, family members, just like sad things, grievous things, unexpected things, where my heart just really went out for this woman because she had been through a lot. And we're just talking, and we're in this like the rental car, and it's dark. I mean, it's pitch black, you know, Catskill Mountain dark. And after I heard her whole life story, I was like, you know, just driving, you know, flooring at like 60 miles an hour. And the only thing I could think to say about her life, you know, was like, wow, you've been through a lot. And it was like so hollow coming out, like, you know, how could you, you know, like, words cannot express, you know, what she'd been through. And I said, you've been lucky. And all of a sudden she turned to me, like from the passenger seat, and, you know, grayish hair, you know, like this, kind of like shaggy, white and gray, and her eyes, they were like the ice blue color of wolf eyes, like that piercing, almost white blue ice wolf eye. And she looked at me like this, and it was like the inside of the Mitsubishi car I was in, it like illuminated. And I saw her eyes, and like we were this close because like I'm driving, she's the passenger. And she said, I don't believe in luck. I believe in being blessed. And as soon as she said blessed, it was like, boom. It's like my heart just went, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty deep, blessed. So that was in 93. And ever since then, even though I was a witch, and it's like I never used the word luck ever again. I just always used the word blessed, because it like really struck me. And then I went to the medicine circle, went to the sweat lodge, had a really wild experience, this, that, the other, and yada yada. So I really need some sleep. So we might continue this, well, eventually. Okay.